Hi, it's Ranbir. Welcome. It's Friday. I've got a new episode here for you today. If you're new to the channel, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Ranbir Puar. I am a TEDx speaker of the popular talk called Building Strong Children. I am also an author and a podcaster of Living Light Radio. I live on the west coast of Canada, and I'm raising my two incredible sons with my husband. This channel is here for you to help you build strong connections under your roof. And as we all know, many families live in multiple homes. And the idea is just to strengthen the bonds under the roof of this home and that home and all the homes so you can learn to like your family, because that is one of the most important gifts you can give yourself and you can give your kids as well. So back to today's topic. Today's topic is about raising grateful children. If you are Canadian, like me, you are celebrating Thanksgiving this weekend. And when we have Thanksgiving, we generally take a little bit of time to show our appreciation for our friends and family and all of our blessings. And it's a wonderful practice, the practice of gratitude. Absolutely fantastic. But it can also be a little bit confusing. And I don't know if you recognize this, but when I was thinking about this topic, I was realizing that nearly every single generation of parents, you'll hear a group of parents that will talk about how ungrateful their children are, right? Like you've had that happen, you've heard those conversations, and it makes you realize that this is a problem that's been going on for generations. For generations, we've been trying to teach children how to be grateful, how to make sure we don't raise spoiled children. Well, first, let's peel back the layers on this stuff a little bit, because let's talk about spoiled first. Spoiled. What does that word mean? If you kind of think about it, it actually means gone bad or bad. That's heavy. That's heavy when you look at it like that way, because we throw around the term very loosely. Oh, I can't believe how spoiled you are, and you're so spoiled, and blah, 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 blah. And yet, when you think about it, you're telling your kid that he or she has gone bad. Not so great for their self-image, not so great for their sense of self, right? Because if something's gone bad, our children know that that is something that is considered not usable, not useful. It goes in the compost, it goes in the trash. So it's really a heavy connotation to pass on. It's a heavy message to pass on to your children, the idea of them being spoiled. So maybe that's something to think about and look at, not to make you feel guilty if you've used the word. Gosh, my goodness, this whole experience of parenting is a work in progress. I think I put up something, or we had it up on our social media. I think it was this week, something about the idea you can be a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time. It's pretty fantastic. So if you have been using the word spoiled with your child, and now all of a sudden you heard me talk about it in this particular fashion, please don't panic. Don't beat yourself up, because that's just an excuse to feed the victim, feed your inner critic, and that does not move you forward. So if you've done it, be okay with it. That's your starting point. Let's move forward from there. Okay, just want to clarify that. And so the other thing that's confusing is the way that we try to teach our kids about gratitude can actually be a little confusing, because sometimes we're actually not asking them to be grateful. We're actually asking them to do something that I call recognition. So let's not confuse gratitude and appreciation with acknowledgement and recognition. Those are separate things. You can acknowledge something and maybe you don't feel grateful for it. Like, I think that's happened to me. It's probably happened to you. So let's really make sure that we're careful about trying to tell our kids by by doing an acknowledgement that means we're grateful. That's not always the case. It can be the case, but it's not always the case. So Let's teach them what the difference is there. And appreciation and gratitude, it's something you feel. It's something that can be taught because you can role model it. Like kids um, can watch you. They pay attention. Obviously, most communication between humans is nonverbal. So they watch your body language. They listen to the tone of your voice. They understand the meaning of gratitude by witnessing you experience it, express it, all that good stuff. And sometimes when you hold them in your arms, and you just like put your whole heart into it and you're really present for that hug, they can feel your gratitude. They know what it is. So then our job or responsibility, pardon me, as parents, if this is something that's important to you to raise a grateful child, then it's to water what you want to grow. It's for you then to pay closer attention to whether or not you think like how you define things. Like a lot of people define the idea of meeting a child's needs, they confuse that with, oh my gosh, if I meet my child's needs, I might spoil my child. You've heard that before, right? I remember the first time I heard it was when I was a brand new mom. And I used to take Isaac, my not so little baby anymore. He's big, taller than me, just over 6 feet. I used to take him to a weekly clinic. It was the nurse's clinic. We would go there, we would weigh our babies. And after we'd weigh our babies, there would be a lecture of sorts, some topic in regards to parenting. But every single week, somebody would raise their hand, a new mom, because everyone's trying to do their best. And one of the biggest fears that came up consistently was, I'm afraid that if I respond to my baby's crying, that I'm going to spoil my baby. And I don't know if it's because I was born in India, but we moved here when I was a tot like 2. But I don't know if it's because my parenting references have to do with that style of parenting, where it's very much about making sure the family bond lasts a lifetime. The idea of not attending to your child when your child cries and thinking that's spoiling your child, to me, it seemed like alien talk. It seemed like totally foreign. And yet, for most of the people in the room, that's something that they were genuinely concerned about. So it made me kind of look and pay attention a little closer. And the reality is the baby can't talk. So when a baby cries, the baby is trying to communicate something to you. And the wonderful thing about communication, whether it's a cry or whether it's a sentence or whether it's a scream, when somebody communicates with you, they're hoping to be seen and heard. No? Right? Like it's, are you actively listening to me? I'm crying. I need you, mom. I need you, dad. I need you, grandma, grandpa, like who's ever looking after the baby. So it's super important for us to kind of backtrack a little bit and go back to basics about the idea of instilling the you know, building grateful children. You build grateful children by ensuring that that child feels safe and secure, by ensuring that child understands what that means, by ensuring the child feels heard and seen, and by meeting their needs. And that's very different than buying them stuff. You cannot spoil a child with love. You could potentially confuse them about what gratitude means by buying them things and saying, here, have this thing. I can't give you my love or my attention. I'm just going to give you these things. And that's my way of showing my love for you. Like that can be confusing for a child. But still, even in that sense, has that child really gone bad? Really? Like, do we put an end statement like that on a human who's still growing? Would you like that? Like I don't know if somebody came to me and said, Ranbir, you know what? You're expired. You're gone bad. even at this point in my life, I would find that jarring. It would be very difficult to process. So when we're trying to build gratitude, we need to do it from the ground level. It needs to start with how you communicate with your child, your teen, your toddler, your baby. It doesn't matter what stage you're at. So the way I parented my sons is when they cried, I went to them. When they cried, I addressed it. And I got criticized. I can't even tell you how I got criticized for my parenting style when my sons were babies because people thought I was spoiling them. And fast forward, they're 16 and almost 13. And all I'm asked is, what did I do? How did you get kids like that? I didn't just get kids like that. I worked at it. And if I can work at it, so can you. It's not something that's magical. It's not something out of reach. It's not something that's impossible. Like it's something that it doesn't matter where you are in your parenting journey. You can stop the patterns that you had previous to this, and you can just start learning and about meeting needs, your needs, their needs. Like it's all really important. Those basic needs are really important. And from that, you can add another layer called gratitude. And from that, you can add more and more and more. So it's really, really awesome. So if you're that mom who's got the new baby and you are answering those cries and you're being criticized for it and you're being told you're going to raise an ungrateful and spoiled child, I can tell you, you're the people that are criticizing you. You can let that go because, you know, what someone thinks about you is their problem, not yours. So you, while you're watching this video, you already know whether or not your household expresses and experiences gratitude. I don't need to come in there and to tell you that. You can measure that yourself. And if it's at a place where you feel like it needs improvement, then all you need to do is take some basic steps to get there. And some of those basic steps I've outlined before, but I'm going to say again, just for a summary. One is to avoid using words like you're spoiled to your child because you don't want to tell your child that they've gone bad and that they need to be composted. I'm joking. Am I allowed to say that anymore? I might get canceled. So number two, the other thing is to role model gratitude. So pay attention to your body language when you're feeling grateful. You know, pay attention to what comes up and stirs up in your body. So if you want to teach that to somebody, you know what it feels like. And then when you know what it feels like, it's easier to teach or to role model it in future situations. Number three is to pay attention to your tone. The one of the most difficult things, and I've been guilty of it before, where I'll say to my kids, "Say thank you, say thank you." And, sometimes I jump in and try to do that recognition piece, which I can have confused as gratitude in the past, because sometimes when a person expresses gratitude, it's not through words. Sometimes a kid can say thank you with a big hug. Sometimes they can say thank you with their big sparkling eyes or their big smile that just lights up the room. So be really mindful of how you're demanding gratitude to show up. Maybe you need to just actually change your sort of filter or perspective on it. And maybe you can go back and witness their gratitude rather than trying to dictate recognition, because that's very powerful when you can make that shift. And the last thing I'll offer is that I have a free 10-day course called 10 Techniques to Awaken Your Inner Champion. It's totally free. There's nothing for sale at the end. One of the pieces of the puzzle in those 10 days is a conversation about gratitude and what it means and how you can exercise it in a deeper fashion. So if you're interested in that, I encourage you to make sure you go to my online school. The links are all below and sign up. It's free and it's on demand. You'll get it instantly over the 10-day period. You'll get to learn a new lesson every single day, because the truth of the matter is, to raise strong children, to learn to like your family, you need to learn to like yourself first. And this is a wonderful journey in towards the light that lives in you. So I hope you'll check it out. If you like this video, please don't forget to share it with your friends and family. I run a small business, so every time you share or comment, it goes a really long way for me and it really helps me out. So I really am grateful for that. And then, of course, don't forget, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel because that helps me too. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you next week. Happy Thanksgiving to all of Canada. Thank you so much.